Hey guys, thogdad here, and welcome back to our Africa Cup predictions. We are down to our final 8 countries, and they're all big hitters with great players across the board.
Well, I've got me Rwanda shirt on, Theo. Who are Rwanda playing?
Oh, well,
look at that.
No, well, you know, because you've been doing your notes. They're not in this competition.
Oh, no, okay. Well, why am I even doing this?
Well, what's the first game?
The first game is Mali against Senegal. It's the Eagles against the Lions of Teranga, Theo.
Wow.
What brilliant names these African nations have got.
Yeah.
Bolton Wanderers, right, Theo. We're the Lily Whites or the Trotters. Why can't we be the indomitable meerkats of West Horton?
That's a good point.
We're England.
Yeah.
Why can't we be the boozy Bulldogs?
But Dad, we're here to predict who is better out of Mali and Senegal, so people know what's going to happen. And I've watched Mali. I've been to Morocco for the Afcon already, where I saw Mali get a draw against Morocco, 1-1. That was a really good result, because that's against the favourites in their own country.
But Mali, the desert nation, Theo, capital Ouagadougou. I remember studying this in geography.
Yeah.
Now, they're the outsiders, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
3 draws in 3 games, and then they got through on extra time, so they haven't won in 90 minutes.
Yeah,
Theo.
they've drawn 4 games now, actually, because they won that on penalties against Tunisia. So they got through, they got the job done, and they were the first North African team going home. But Mali, let's not respect them. They've not been beaten yet. Their Belgian manager, he was a bit of a journeyman. Now he's really found his home at Mali. Probably the biggest underdog of the whole tournament left. Do you give them any chance against the big hitting Senegal?
Well, Theo, they've got Yves Bissouma. That's probably the one name that we know, the Tottenham player. He'll be delighted to be playing for a good team for once. Sorry, Tottenham fans.
Shocking.
Lassine Sinoyoko, Theo. He plays for Auxerre. He's got 3 of his country's 4 goals. Now, they've got to the last 8. Don't completely write them off.
Against Morocco, I actually thought when they subbed off Yves Bissouma, they got better.
Yes.
They've got a really good amount of squad depth. Lots of players in the top 5 leagues that I didn't know about until I watched them with my own eyes. The main thing is they're a unit. They're really hard to break down, a good low block, solid tactic. Morocco struggled, and I think the same could be for Senegal. But if they break through early, the goals could be big, because how many talented players are in the Senegal team? Where do we start?
Oh my goodness, we start by saying that the last 15 games in Afcon, Theo, Senegal have never lost in the duration.
Yeah.
They've lost on penalties once.
They're winners.
So possibly the biggest player at the moment in the Senegal team is Nicholas Jackson, Theo, Bayern Munich striker. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist from 3 games.
Dan, what about Sadio Mane?
Well, Sadio Mane, Al Nassr, Theo, he's got 3 assists and 1 goal. We know him from his Liverpool days.
He's doing
He's
good.
a great player, but is he today's player? That's the point I'm making.
And to complete that front 3 is Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace, who we know is in his kind of prime. He's Premier League proven. The whole front 3 is Premier League proven. All 3 of them have scored goals in the Prem and shone and gone on to possibly even bigger things. So that is what Mali are dealing with, which is probably on par with Morocco, maybe a little bit stronger if we go through the whole Senegal team. They've scored 3 goals in 3 of their 4 Afcon matches.
Yes.
There's no one else that can say that in the whole competition. I think if Senegal win this game, they will go all the way to the final.
Oh, wow. We've not even mentioned Idrissa Gueye, Theo. He is a fighter, isn't he? Usually against his teammates, but we'll let that slip. Habib Diarra of Sunderland. So there are some big names in this Senegal team.
I must admit, in the Ivory Coast Africa Cup 2 years ago, they were the favourite then, and they lost to the home nation in this same round.
Yeah.
And they went out on penalties, so they don't want a hiccup. They might have a nightmare in their head that's happened before. So Senegal, you're one of the favourites of this tournament. Go and get the job done. My prediction, Mali 0, Senegal 2.
I put 1-0 at first, but then I changed it 2-0 Senegal. Cameroon against Morocco, what a game. It's the indomitable Lions against the Atlas Lions, isn't it, Theo? Now, Cameroon have won this tournament 5 times. They've got pedigree. In fact, in Afcon, they have never lost to Morocco.
Wow, I didn't know that. How many times have they played them in Afcon?
I think it might be 3, Theo, but don't hold me to that.
Okay, interesting. Well, history matters, Dad. You've mentioned they've won 5 Africa Cups. They've got a great team. They've beaten every team, though, in this tournament by 1 goal, a couple 2-1s. They've done enough, but will it be enough when you're playing a team like Morocco? This is definitely their biggest test so far. They're playing against the host nation, the favourites by far, the one that's proven to score the important goals when need be. Yes, against Mali, they had that draw, which I mentioned earlier, but apart from that, they've won the games they needed to be. They smashed Zambia in the first knockout game too.
Well, it's really exciting, Theo, because anyone my generation remembers those free-scoring, exciting Cameroon teams of the 80s and the 90s. But interestingly, you look back over the last 10 games, they are not free-scoring.
Yeah, true.
And is that a positive, is that a negative? Because they could go out there and sneak a win.
Well, they've got a manager which, a lot of the times in this video, they're from Europe, but their manager's actually from Cameroon.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that will impact them, but it's important to note. And a lot of their team actually play in the French First Division.
Yes.
So there is top 5 league quality.
There is, certainly. And the names that we know, Theo, Carlos Baleba, of course, plays for Brighton, Brian Mbomo. Now, he is a fine player. I rate him very, very highly, always have. He could be the difference. And
they're both originated from playing in French leagues. Apparently, there's a stat in Afcon that there's one province in France that hosts 42 of the players in Africa Cup.
No way.
And obviously, a lot of the Cameroon players are from that province in France, born there.
Wow.
So it just breeds the best African players. Yeah, I think by far this is Morocco's hardest test. To go to that stadium, come away with a win, would basically say that they're going to the final. Cameroon, as you said, you mentioned 2 of the best players in Mbeumo Baleba, but they're all solid, big lads, hard to break down. I think both their centre-backs play in Serie A, and they've won the competition 5 times. So, what are we talking about with Morocco? Because they also have a great team.
Let us start in the correct place, Theo, which is Qatar a few years ago, when this team got to the semi-finals.
Yeah, big time.
And you went to like all 7 games, didn't you, Theo?
I did, yeah.
And you've become quite well known, haven't you, in that? So you've gone to Morocco many times, like it's your second home.
I can't believe the story. It all started in Qatar, as you mentioned, and you watched a lot of those games. I think you watched 5 of the 7.
Yes.
People forget that thogdad, you know what? You watch so much Morocco, you should just go to Morocco.
Yes.
You should join me. Anyway, that's for a separate note. thogdad in Morocco. Hit the like. How many likes do we need on this to bring you to Morocco?
Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you, let's have 50,000 views of this video and I will come out to Morocco. Views. Now, talk to me about Morocco in this tournament, because in Afcon, Theo, they underachieved. They won it once in 1976. I was an 8-year-old boy. And you look at this tournament, they've only conceded 1 in the last 6 hours of football. They've not scored that many.
They won 1-0 against Tanzania. They got the job done. A lot of Tanzanian fans were a little bit gutted about that. But a win's a win, and that's important. Everyone's playing at their stadium until the final as well. They don't have to move. They don't have to drive anywhere. So it really is set up nicely for them. But on the pitch, there's been games where you think, well, this isn't the Morocco I watched at the World Cup. You know, the likes of Boufal and Ziyech, they had this experience and specialty that you can't just replace. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of new generation in this team, like El Kanous, Saibiri, Ben Seguir, and they're all decent, but who's really going to fill the boots of that iconic World Cup team? For me, I don't think right now they're as good as the World Cup team, but can they win against Cameroon? Yes. Have they proven to me they can win Afcon? No, not yet. But it's games like this that really show that you're the best. And now the Morocco defence, they've changed it up. They've got Hakimi back, don't they?
Hakimi is back from injury, Theo. I want to talk about 2 players. I've just said they've not scored many goals. I was talking mainly about the Tanzania game. But you look at Brahim Diaz, Theo, of Real Madrid. He has scored 4 games running. And he always scores after like the 60th minute. So watch out for him later in the game. And then there's another lad, Ayoub El Kabi, Theo.
By the way, he's literally the Moroccan Harry Kane. I say it every time. When you need a goal, that guy pops up. He's so experienced, always there, target man, great finisher, loves to score in the acrobatic style.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I think overall, this is going to be decided by a single goal. This could easily go beyond the 90 minutes. But I'm just going to jump in and say Cameroon 0, Morocco 1. I think the difference here could be home advantage.
I'm going to go, like you said, with the most likely outcome here, of Morocco winning, again, by a 1-goal difference. Cameroon 0, Morocco 1. From somewhere, they'll find a goal, maybe late on, or maybe in extra time. I feel like it'll have a different story.
Algeria against Nigeria is the Desert Warriors against the Super Eagles. We love these names, don't we, Theo?
Brilliant.
Oh my goodness, this could be a special game because Algeria, don't bet against them.
No.
Played 4-1 for Theo.
119th minute goal against Congo. The famous fan that lifted his arm in the air, it went down.
I mean, there have been some great moments in this tournament, but that stands out, doesn't it?
It does. I would have loved to be there at that game, Algeria-Congo, because you knew whoever wins that, they're going to be so passionate. Congo fans were brilliant. Unfortunately, their run is over now. But Algeria, they're going to bring the whole of their country across the border to Morocco. I just wonder if we might see a Morocco-Algeria semi-final. That's what we're predicting if we say Algeria to win, because we both said that Morocco are going to win. Going to be a cracking game, no doubt. Full stadium, lots of atmosphere. You've watched history of Africa Cups, Dad.
Yeah.
And I remember in 2019, where Algeria won this tournament, where Riyad Mahrez led them to lift their first ever trophy. And the players won't forget that. He's in the dressing room. He's basically the leader, telling them, all the new lads, we've got to do it again. Let's make our country proud. We can't forget that. History matters.
And you know what, Theo? Riyad Mahrez is having a wonderful tournament. 3 goals in 3 games, and he brings that experience. and they have won the tournament twice, which is more than Morocco. Now, Algeria's last 14 internationals, Theo, 11 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. They will be super confident.
They will be, but we cannot write off Nigeria. We're going to speak about them in a second. I just want to add a few more things about Algeria, because there's so much to talk about. Bulbina, I actually said, remember the name to my friends before the tournament started, if there was one player in Afcon to watch out for, because I went to Al Duhail in the Asian Champions League where he cooked Benzema's Al Ittihad, scored, I think, a hat-trick in front of us, and he was 23, and I was like, if you're 23 doing that in the QSL, you're going to come to the Prem. There's so many solid players. The whole of Algeria's team seems to be playing Bundesliga. There's one at Wolfsburg. There's one at Mönchengladbach.
Oh, there's Ben Sabani,
Dortmund.
Ben Sabani. BVB. And there's also, of course, Ait Nouri, Theo. We've forgotten about him, haven't we?
And the
he's
goalkeeper,
on the bench at City.
The goalkeeper is Zidane's son, and he's also called Zidane. I've got Luka Zidane, I believe. And also to have Zidane supporting and watching you in the crowd, I feel like the players just have to care that little bit more.
And do you know what, Theo? One thing that's very interesting to me, the last 3 head-to-heads have been won by Algeria.
Yeah.
So we all know Nigeria. We know what they can do. And the pedigree in this tournament, they've won it 3 times, haven't they, Theo?
Actually, the manager chooses the top 5 league players. Every single 11, part of their 11, is top 5 leagues.
Wow.
Like, if you compare that with Egypt, who we're predicting next, a lot of them Egyptian division.
Nigeria, they have won this tournament 3 times.
Okay.
They've got to the semi-final 16 times. 12. They have scored 12 goals in the last 4 games.
It's amazing.
They are scoring goals. The thing about Nigeria that worries me a little bit, they often mess up.
Really?
When they're expected to win something, they often mess up. I don't
They're
know
actually,
what it is.
They're actually the favourites in this game too. They've got a great coach in Eric Chell, the Frenchman, who's done brilliant to lead them. He used to manage Mali and got them to a quarters, which was over-exceeding already. So watch out for him. He will hope for no juju magic in the next few rounds, like he mentioned a few games back. Then there's Lookman, Dad.
Oh.
How good is Ademola Lookman?
Well, I think the stats, tell me if I'm wrong, 3 goals, 4 assists in 3
It's the most
games.
contributions out of any player in Africa Cup, full
Yes.
stop. You know why he's doing so many contributions?
Go on.
The midfield level, the 3 of midfielders behind him, it's Premier League quality. Iwobi, Onyeka at Brentford, and Ndidi, who was previously, won the Premier League with Leicester. So don't forget, that's what builds the bedrock for your Nigeria team. Is it just that little bit better? We're talking about players like Osimhen.
Yes.
Osimhen was linked with everybody at one stage.
Oh, and he's at Galatasaray at the moment. He's already got 3 goals and 1 assist. And then at the back, a player that I really like in the Premier League, Calvin Bassey, Theo, of Fulham. So you've got a lot of talent that you will know about in that Nigeria team.
Premier League talent. I'm going to go 1-1 at full time, and then the winner will be Nigeria. They're going to score an extra time goal, 2-1 to Nigeria. I just think their team is a little bit better, and it seems like the camp is very good from Iwobi's vlogs. So
I just go back to that head-to-head record there. I think Algeria have got something against Nigeria, and I think after 120 minutes, this will be Algeria 2, Nigeria 1.
It's going to be a cracker in Marrakesh. We've gone different, which I like.
Egypt against the Ivory Coast is the Pharaohs against the Elephants, Theo. Now, Egypt, they hold the record for the most Afcons. They have won this 7 times. It means a lot, doesn't it, football in Egypt?
Absolutely, Dad. They've got the history. They've got Mo Salah, Marmoush, the quality. The rest of the team, is it as good as previous Afcon wins? Probably not. There's a lot of Pyramids and Al Ali players, whilst we just spoke about Algeria, where every single one of their first 11 plays in a top 5 European league. So maybe that difference will come into factor here as they play Ivory Coast. But they are playing in Agadir, the city that they know and have played all their games so far. They've been staying in, the same hotel, training at the same location. Mo Salah has this aura where, he's brought them Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues at Liverpool. He can bring the Africa Cup to Egypt.
I mean, he will want it so badly because Egypt last won this tournament in 2010.
Yeah.
That is 16 years ago. And we know about Mo Salah. The critics will say he's a little bit past it. I disagree.
Look at the stats.
He's a big game player. You can see him lifting the trophy, can't you, at this tournament. He's already got 3 goals in 3 games. Important goals there.
Yeah, and if they get through, they'll have to play the winner of another tough fixture. But they won't play Morocco, Nigeria, or Algeria until the final. So they've actually got the easiest side of the run. But yeah, Senegal is not an easy opponent if they do beat Mali in the next round. They are the final match of the whole semi-finals as well, so it all come down to this. They'll know every single team that are through. And despite Marmoush not getting much game time under Pep Guardiola's Man City, he did score the goal against Zimbabwe to score the winner late on. We watched that on telly together.
Yes.
And it was in the same stadium as where they're still playing.
That is correct, though. But they're playing an Ivory Coast team who are the reigning champions.
They are.
They won it last time round. I think it was against Nigeria, wasn't it, Theo? And they've won this tournament 3 times.
And Dad,
so don't write them off.
They smashed Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Not 1, but 2, but 3-0. And it was Amad Diallo and Diomande on the wings. Very young wingers, but killing it right now.
Oh my
They actually brought on a player who was 19. He scored the 3rd goal. The average goals of their last game was 20 years old.
And I want to talk about him, Theo, because he is called Jan Diomande. He plays for RB Leipzig. He got a goal in the quarterfinal. He's 19 years old, like you said. Remember the name. And Diallo, like you've also said, 3 goals, 1 assist from 3 starts.
Well, their coach is from Ivory Coast as well. He was a player who played in Ligue 1, and he's only 41 years old. He's one of the youngest managers in this competition, and he really understands youth. But youth might come back to haunt you when you play against experience like Egypt. And I just worry, over time, I don't know how, maybe they'll hold out till penalties. I just have a weird feeling, you know what I'm going to say here, Egypt are going to win. But it won't be easy. I think Ivory Coast have a slightly better team. I'm going to go for a 1-1 that goes all the way past extra time, and they actually face off at penalties, and only then will Egypt beat them because they have more experienced players. So that means I've predicted 2 North African teams because Algeria goes out. But if you predict this, that means all 3 North African teams make it to the semi-finals.
Well, sometimes there is a script, and the script is Egypt get to the final and win it, and Mo Salah scores the win. That is the script, and sometimes the script, it doesn't happen.
Ooh.
And I think I'm going to slightly agree with you. This is going to go 120 minutes. It's going to go to penalties at 1-1.
Oh, wow.
And then I think Mo Salah's going to fluff his penalty.
No,
I think
don't say that.
Something like that will happen, and I think the Ivory Coast will win on penalties.
You think Ivory Coast? The current champions of Africa Cup are going to go through to the Final 4. That's how good Afcon has been. It's never been better. The stadiums have never been better in Morocco. It's so good. I'm going there. I'm smashing the like on this video to make sure thogdad goes there too. Thank you, and good luck to every Afcon team in Morocco. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.